I see a lot of people always complaining about how they can't find a job, how they want a job, they want to work, but no job pays enough. Who wants to go to work at Burger King or McDonald's and make $10, $12 an hour? That it's not even enough to cover your rent, much less pay for your life. So you're going to have to get a second job on top of always going around smelling like grease, French fries, and hamburger patties, right? Nobody wants to do that type of work. And that's hard work in some sense. Like if you're busy and you're back there over the grill cooking and you're under stress trying to get food out to a lot of people who just keep coming in a never ending line, that can break you down. So I don't understand why people would choose to do that when there's so many other options open. Now, I know people always talk about how hard it is to find a good paying job, but it's not that hard. You have to look at where the jobs are. Now, most people, when they're growing up, whatever their family members do, not just their parents, but their aunts, their uncles, their cousins, that's the industries that they're thinking about for the most part. I mean, the internet has really opened things up, but my generation, it didn't have that. It was basically what you see, what you know exists as work, and what you feel like is possible for you. Now, I know there's going to be people in the comments, and absolutely anything is possible for anybody if you put enough effort in and have enough luck. But I'm here to take the luck out of it. If you want a job that's going to start you out with no experience necessary whatsoever, pays you 20 something dollars an hour to start without you knowing anything, and then allows you to learn a trade on the job while getting paid 20 something dollars an hour, it's widely available. Like absolutely anybody watching this video could go have a job by next week in industrial construction. Nobody seems to want to work those jobs anymore, and they're hard. They're hard work. They're outside. They're in the sun, right? Some heavy lifting might be required for certain jobs, and heights and heat and cold, and you don't really work in the rain. I mean, even a chicken has enough sense to get out of the rain, right? So it's not like you're going to have to work out in all types of weather, but it's going to be hot and it's going to be cold, and sometimes it's going to feel good, but you'll get used to it. And a lot of times you'll be working indoors anyway, so it's not always just a heat fest or a cold fest. But that's the type of things you're going to have to put up with anyway if you want a high paying job without a specialty, without going to college to get a degree for that field. If you want to be able to go to work, industrial construction is the absolute best place you could be. People always try to break down what class of person you're from by your race or ethnicity or what country you're from or what language you speak or things like that. But it doesn't really matter, right? None of that stuff really matters. What does matter is income. So those classes, you got the poor, then you've got the lower middle class, then you've got the upper middle class, then you've got the rich, then you've got the filthy rich, right? Now, I'm here to tell you that industrial construction can get you in that upper middle class. I mean, you can be making $100,000 a year and you can do it with no experience whatsoever. And you don't have to be a man, a woman too. You see, general construction at a industry, at a plant, 3M, BP, Amoco, Alphabet, Daikin. If you go to work at those plants, those are the good jobs in that town, right? Well, you can work at those plants without working at those plants. And I'm not talking about going through the temporary service. I'm talking about going to absolutely every general contractor that you see. You see their trucks driving around. You see the building with the office sign. Go put in an application. Write down that you want to be a fire watch helper, right? Fire watch helper. You have no experience, but you're willing to work, because a fire watch is somebody who literally sits there and watches other people do work and make sure nothing catches on fire. And a helper is somebody who's going to go in with no experience whatsoever. They're going to fire watch sometimes, but then they're going to help the workers sometimes. They're going to hand them tools. They're going to help them pick stuff up. They're going to help them figure out how to get this into this area. They're going to rig for them, whatever. They're going to do things that help get the job done, because sometimes it's not enough for somebody who knows what they're doing. They have to have that extra set of hands, right? So helpers are needed very bad. You always need more helpers on a job site, right? Well, let's not say always, because some company only hires helpers and then you end up being the only journeyman with a bunch of helpers, and that's a different story. But the reason for that is because the journeymen don't exist. So those job openings are always there. So these helpers that are on the job, if they want to pick up a welding rod and start learning how to weld, they're getting paid that 20 something dollars an hour to learn how to weld. If they want to go and take up pipe fitting and learn how to fit pipe and pull measurements and the takeouts, and it's pretty simple process. I mean, it's a little math involved, but it's not that hard. And you got a calculator, right? This ain't high school. So you go through, you learn that, right? If that doesn't work out for you, you're not fired. If you end up being a terrible pipe fitter, you're not fired. They're not going to fire you. They need your body. You're going to figure out something else to do. You're either going to go back to just helping people do stuff, or you're going to figure out how to weld. And if you can't figure out how to weld, well, maybe you can be a mechanic. Turn wrenches, take shit apart, put it back together, read the instructions. Just think about this. If you're making $25 an hour straight time, you work 40 hours at $25 an hour, that's $1,000 a week, right? Right there. If you're working 40 hours a week, making $25 an hour, you're making $52,000 a year. That's a starting salary in industrial construction now. A starting salary of $52,000 a year. You don't have any experience whatsoever. But once you get some experience, we're talking a year or two. If you're hardworking and dedicated, you show up every day, watch, you listen, you learn, you take what people are telling you and you apply it to what you're doing. Everybody's willing to help because we need more people. We always need more help. We've got a lot of work to do in a short amount of time to get it done. We got deadlines we got to hit. So we're either working our ass off or we're hiring new people. And if we hire new people and they don't know what to do, we need to teach them what to do. And if they're not going to figure out what to do, then they're just going to be a helper. But the helper makes good money, right? So let's go back to this. $52,000 a year when you don't know what you're doing. But you're going to get a cost of living raise every year regardless, right? So just because you're making 25 this year doesn't mean you're going to be making 25 next year. But also, as you learn, as you pick up skills, as you become familiar with the tools and know what's what, and know what needs to be done, when you start being able to look at the set of blueprints and figure out what is next and what needs to happen first for everything to come together, well, that's when you start moving on up in the money. And then after 2 or 3 years, you can be a journeyman, right? And a journeyman's making $35 to $40 an hour. So let's take $40 an hour, right? 40 hours a week, that's $1,600 a week that you're making, right? Say 52 weeks in the year and you get $83,200. So once you're a journeyman working 40 hours a week, you can be making $83,200. But wait a minute, I told you that you can make over $100,000 a year, right? This right here, this is the bottom of the barrel. You're making $83,200 a year on 40 hours a week, but we don't work 40 hours a week. All right. Industrial construction is notorious for overtime. Now, I understand a lot of people are going to be like, well, I don't want to work all the time. I want to enjoy life. Understood. And you don't necessarily have to. There's plenty of industrial construction jobs where you don't have to. The overtime is optional. But let's look at this now. So say you're making $40 an hour, right? $1,600 a week on 40 hours. So you put in your 40 hours, you got your $1,600, but you're working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. So now you've got a whole nother 44 hours that week, but it's at $60 an hour. So you do the math on that and you let me know how much you would make that week. Now, taxes, you're going to find out about taxes. This is the reason that the working class bitches about taxes, because the more overtime you work, the more time of yours you give up to be at work, and the more they benefit you and give you more and more money to come, because it's taking time away that you need for quality life. Well, the government takes more and more and more of your money for taxes. But that's irrelevant, right? Because if your biggest problem is how much taxes the government is taking out of your check, then you're not struggling to pay the rent. If you are, that's a financial literacy problem and you need to manage your money better. But anyway, this is how you make $100,000 a year within the next couple years. Absolutely anybody can do it. You hire in with electricians, you can hire in with roofers, you can hire in with iron workers, you can hire in with welders, you can hire in with pipe fitters, you can hire in with equipment operators, you can hire in with dirt work guys, you can hire in with concrete guys. There's so many different professions. And when you get onto a job site, even if you're just a helper, if you're constantly doing your job to the best of your ability, then other people are going to see that. So then if something does end up happening with this job, other people have seen you. If they don't want to pay you what you feel like you deserve, maybe this other company will. They already know that you're a good worker. So when you go up and you ask them about a job, they're going to recommend you to their hiring supervisor. This happens all the time. People change shirts, jump companies constantly. It's a money binge. Oh, I can make $2 an hour more over here. I'm going to jump over here. Oh, I'm going to make $1 more over here, but we got 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. I'm going to go over here and work this for 3 months, but then I'm going to come back over here. And you can constantly hire back in. It's back and forth because they need the help. And if you can get in there and show them you're willing to work, they're going to teach you a skill. We offer classes at my own company that I work for. We're not giving no shout outs here. They ain't paid me for no sponsorship, but we do pipe fitting classes. We do welding classes, and that's where we pay you to pull up and learn. And then that benefits us in the long run because we get to bill you as a welder rather than a helper. So we get paid more for you. Therefore, we can pay you more. Now, once you learn those skills, you can take those skills anywhere. If you want to take those skills, work a few years, making a couple $100,000 in those few years welding, and then go buy you a truck and buy your own welding rig and make you some business cards and go into business for yourself, you can do that. If you want to be a heavy equipment operator, save up the money and buy you some heavy equipment, you can do that. Or you can stay with the company who's going to match your 401k and add to it, who's going to offer insurance premiums, uniforms, life insurance. They're going to pay you good money because they want you to be there and they want you to think about this job as if it's important to you. These jobs do exist and we can't get people into them. So it bothers the hell out of me when I hear people sit around talking about how they can't find a job. If you are one of those people and you feel like I've said something here that's not true, if you feel like that there is no construction jobs that you could get right now and go make $20 to $25 an hour, message me. I will help you out. I will send you in the right direction because every job site is hiring. Every job site. You see people at the store, go up to a store by the plant at lunchtime at 11:30 to 12 o'clock. And when you see those guys pull in with those company trucks, ask them if they're hiring. Ask them what they do. Ask them, do they hire helpers? Do they hire with no experience? They're all going to tell you yes. They're going to tell you exactly where to go to fill out an application. And when you show up to fill out that application, if you have to go in person, go up there looking like a worker. Get you a pearl snap shirt if you want to be a welder. Get you some work boots and a hat. Go up there, look the part, apply for the job. They'll probably interview on the spot. If not, they'll call you in a day or so. When you go to the interview, dress as if you want to be taken seriously. It's not a dress down, oh, I'm going to show up in swimming trunks and a tank top to a job interview where I'm going to be expected to wear long sleeve shirts, blue jeans, boots, leather gloves, hard hat, safety glasses. Show up looking like you want the job. No, I'm not saying wear a hard hat and safety glasses, but wear the shirt, wear the pants. Show them that you're ready to go to work right then after the interview because it's not irregular for somebody to be hired on the spot, sent for their drug test, and out to the job site that same day, especially if you've already been working in the companies and you have a background check complete. They'll send you out there that same day to get started. You can quit one company and go to work for the next one. That's how much we are hiring. So don't tell me you can't find a job. Maybe you don't want to do this type of work, but it still confused me because it's every type of work. Electricians have it made. They don't even know what a broom looks like, okay? Iron workers have it made. They have to be up in the air and they're working in the sun, but that is the most fun thing you will ever do. It is awesome to connect steel. And yeah, I know, I'm an iron worker. I'm a crane operator. I have so many certifications that there will never be a point in time where I won't have a job that pays me the income that I expect to make, right? I ain't never needed a job since I got all these certifications because everybody is always offering. I get job offers to leave the company I'm with and go to a different company on a regular basis. And that's what you'll have too, because if you learn, if you become a skilled professional, these are rare. They're not just plentiful like they used to be. And if you learn to do something, then you can go out there and you can really make a life for yourself rather than wasting your time around hoping to become a manager at some department store. You might have to go get a little sunburn. You might have to go get a little hot. You might have to dress with a few extra layers so you're not freezing to death. But the opportunity's there to make a lot of money. A lot of money. So if you're not doing it and you're complaining about not having enough money, it's your own fault when there's this many jobs available and has been for the last 13 years that I've been in this profession. Reach out to me if you need help. I will point you in the right direction. There are recruiters from companies looking for people. If you drive down the road, you'll see iron workers needed. These jobs do not require experience. You can hire in as the helper and you can work your way up, and they're going to encourage you. You might need to be a little thick-skinned. You don't need to come onto the job site as a sensitive person. You need to leave your feelings at the gate. Come to work to make money. Don't come to work to make friends. You'll make friends along the way. You'll make a lot of money along the way. Stay out of all the drama. Don't try to cause problems. Don't try to get other people in trouble. I'm not saying don't make sure people are safe, because you always want to make sure people are safe. But the way to do that is not to go and tell on them to somebody. It is to go to them and be like, hey, man, do this for me. It freaks me out. They'll normally do it. They're not just trying to risk their life. So go out to the job site, put in effort, and I guarantee you it'll be the best decision you ever made. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel to see more, hit that notification bell so you get notified anytime I post. Have a great day, and we'll see you later.